Number one is to always keep an eye on your dashboard. The dashboard can be your absolute best friend. It can show you if something is wrong with your account, possibly stolen packages, missing packages, or even if you've incorrectly missed a block, even though you're pretty sure you didn't. So basically, you hear all these horror stories, or even on Reddit, that somebody was wrongfully deactivated. Now, sometimes it could be just a mistake on their end and a simple email to support could fix that, or it could be something a lot bigger that you don't know that you're doing, but it could simply be showing up as missing package, missing block, you're doing this, you're doing that, but you don't know because you're not looking at it, and possibly you're not getting the email about it, because for issues they will email you about it, but not every single time. I have not gotten a few emails about reporting packages missing, and the only way I found out about it is looking at the dashboard. Now, if you do come across something that you don't think is right on your dashboard, make sure to get a hold of support right away, whether it's by emailing them or calling them and letting them know of the situation. Now, my most recent example of that is that I had a block that was shown missing when I know for a fact that I did it because I made a lot of money that day. And that's because the warehouse overrode my scheduled block to give me these packages to go out and take. And it was a relatively painless process. I emailed them in the morning. They got back to me in about, 4 or 5 hours, and everything was fixed. 1 second. Now, one of the biggest issues you're gonna run into is stolen packages, and that's what number 2 is gonna be about. The biggest issue you're gonna run into while you're doing these deliveries are missing and stolen packages. Now you can't do much about missing packages if you're scanning everything before you put it in your car. And you can't prevent stolen packages. It's just gonna happen no matter how good you are. But there's one big thing you can do to help maybe minimize your stolen packages. As soon as you drop off the package or packages, depending on how many you have, ring the doorbell or knock. That will be your number one best way to mitigate package theft, because at the very least, if somebody's home, they'll come right out and get it, and usually maybe even wave to you and say thank you. Kind of depends on the customer. Sometimes they don't even want to make eye contact. Now, there are other ways to let the customer know that you're there. If you know nobody's home and you really want to let the customer know, give them a quick little text. You can call them, but I really wouldn't suggest calling everybody at their stops. I would just kind of go with maybe leaving them a little text, letting them know that it's there, but that's at your discretion. Anytime you deliver a package, make sure you knock on the door or hit the doorbell. Just be mindful of any notes about sleeping babies or not making any noise. Just doing those 2 things is the best way to let the customer know that the package is there, because sometimes they just don't hear their phone go off. And the faster the customer gets the package, the faster it can make it inside, the less chance for theft. Now, the app does let them know that the package is there and will send the picture to the customer, or rather to their phone, if you took a picture. However, sometimes that notification is actually pretty slow. I know from experience, because sometimes I didn't know a package even arrived at my house until hours later. I don't know if that was the app being slow or my phone being dumb, who knows? But do not take the chance and, well, leave it up to chance. Because from experience, that is one thing you can't really fight. You can prove that you dropped it off, theoretically, technically, whatever word you want to use. But after you leave, it's not in your hands anymore. That is something you cannot prevent. With knocking and texting and calling, you can lower the chances of it being stolen. Now, you got to remember, every so often you are going to have stolen packages. It's not the end of the world. I remember how bad I freaked out when I had my first package stolen. It was New Year's Eve, and I still, to this day, have no idea where it was stolen from. Your goal shouldn't be to prevent stolen packages, because you're never gonna do that. Your goal should be to minimize, and that's what knocking does, minimize it. While stolen packages can be out of your grasp and there's nothing you can really do about it, this last tip definitely is within your grasp. And if it's not within your grasp, you might need to change your ways. Be kind to the warehouse associates. So the warehouse associates are going to probably be your best asset when it comes to doing this job. And you know what? Sometimes it is frustrating when they're running behind, because all you want to do is load up and get going. The reason they're running behind is probably going to be out of their reach. They could be waiting for a truck. They could be short on associates that day. They probably have to split up routes just to get people out of there so it doesn't go against them. But if you're the type that has to come in guns blazing, yelling and screaming because you're not out of there on time, that just kind of makes you a bad person. We know you want to get out of there. We want to get out of there. We want to get out on that road and deliver as fast as humanly possible. But sometimes you just have to be patient. You just have to wait. Let me give you a little example. So the other day, I had to take my son to school. And if you watch this channel, you kind of know that I do that every other day, or sometimes every day. It kind of depends on what I have scheduled down here in Chico. Sometimes teenagers don't like to cooperate. And when they get dressed, they tend to take 20 minutes, a half hour. He's even taken 45 minutes at one point. Boy, did he get yelled at that day. But regardless, I was running late, getting out of town and getting down here. I was 2 minutes late. I had checked in. I was supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. I checked in at 9:02 and it said I had missed my block. I go up to one of the associates, let them know what happened. I kind of let them know why I was late. You know, it wasn't I was dicking around or anything. It's just life happens. No matter what line of work you're in, life is gonna happen. And they said, oh, no problem. Hit a couple of buttons. I was checked in, ready to go. And I've heard this from in general, that drivers who are consistently late, very hard to work with, and constantly bringing packages back. Actually, I don't know about that last part. That might have just been somebody being upset. But they are less likely to work with those drivers and just say, well, you missed your block, you're out of here. Now, if your goal is to not get deactivated, you don't want to be missing blocks, you don't want to be dropping them late, and it all circles back around to giving the warehouse associates proper respect, working with them, being understanding. Yes, sometimes you're going to be in a very bad mood, and sometimes, maybe, I haven't had it happen to me or anything like that, not since my Walmart days. Maybe they're a little short with you because they're irritated. I wouldn't necessarily say they're going to take it out on you, but they're just going to be a little short. And just know that they're not mad at you, they're just mad at something that happened or something that was said. Because you could have the best day in the world, work with all the drivers, all the customers are all great. You get to that one person who's a fucking asshole. And that right there, something they say, something they yell about, can just ruin it. They can ruin your mood and ruin your day. So as a driver, it is best practice not to be an asshole, to put it bluntly. So I'd say those are the 3 most important things that I've learned since I started with Amazon Flex 6 months ago. And it's all about covering your butt and not getting deactivated randomly. Do you have any other tips that you'd like to share with me or anybody else? Let me know down below. And also, I have a bonus tip for you. If you're gonna be doing this semi-full-time or really high part-time, whatever you wanna call it, always make sure to pack a lunch. It will save you so much money than going to fast food. I mean, I guess if you're doing this line of work in general full-time, it's always good to pack a lunch. Less fast food, the better. So with that, I'm gonna head back to Chico and get started on some DoorDash. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video so more people can see these tips and maybe apply it to their everyday driving needs. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night. My name is Dennis, and I'll see you in the next video.